This episode of the Totally Rad Show is brought to you by GoDaddy. Coming up, we continue our look at some new fall TV shows with Person of Interest.
Today we are back to talk about TV with the new TV series Person of Interest, Thursday nights on CBS. Interesting. Michael Emerson, Emmy-winning actor from Lost. Ben from Lost. Big fans of Ben, as I know we are. Big Ben, as we like to call him.
Quick side note,
Yeah?
it might be interesting to you guys. When I was in high school, Emerson was the code name that we would say to each other if there was a hot girl that walked by.
Good choice.
Mine was Scooby-Doo. That's weird, yeah.
Second,
Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo.
Yeah.
Emerson as
Okay.
in Emerson Nice Ones.
Oh, now I was wondering.
That wasn't even, well, you shouldn't have said that.
I
So
didn't
not
think that.
only is Michael Emerson Nice Ones on the show, but it also stars Jim Caviezel, and it's
Side note.
it's created by Jonathan Nolan, who is Christopher Nolan's brother, who also wrote the short story that Memento was based on. His movie Memento was based on, as well as The Prestige, the screenplay for The Prestige, Dark Knight Rise, Man of Steel. He's done a lot of writing stuff. I think this might be his first TV series that he's created. Person of Interest follows the story of Jim Caviezel, an ex-CIA operative whose life is sort of in shambles. Michael Emerson comes into the party
As Ben Linus.
as Ben Linus, an altruistic but maybe evil entrepreneur. No, he comes in and basically helps him get on the road to being able to help people. Yes, that's being vague because this show is kind of vague in what is actually going on. Daniel
Isn't there
Trachtenberg-
more of a conceit? The conceit of the show is
Well,
like...
the conceit of the show is that the
machine.
United States of America, after post 9/11, created this device that would scan all of the TV or the closed circuit TV monitors, telephone conversations, emails, whatever electronical stuff could happen, and they built this gigantic supercomputer. And that the whole thing is that it was searching for terrorism, and then what they realized was it was actually finding these people that were going to be involved in smaller crimes. And so he's using this list of people's social security numbers that will be affected in some way by crime that have sort of been not prioritized by the United States, whereas they're using the other list, which is terrorist stuff.
It somehow tells the future, right? The idea is that it's
Not
tells us
really.
it's
Just how it
source
sounded.
Code. It's source code.
Not
No,
really, no.
Like they made the source code and it does more than what they
No,
ever
it made
thought.
it, when he first describes it, it makes it sound like it's Minority Report, where
Yeah.
they like somehow in the future, but what we realize
Or
is
early
that-
edition.
What we realize is it's just that we know that these people were people of interest to this
Yeah.
computer. So the show's like The Mentalist, or it's a crime-solving show.
I think it goes farther than that. I got the vibe I got, but
No, it's
Well,
not,
I think
don't think
there might be
because
some.
she's like, I know for certain. We know for certain that this is coming.
Right, we know that something is going to happen with these people. So the mystery every
Yeah,
week
based
is
on
what is
it?
What is it? Who's involved?
Yeah,
How can
how-
we solve it? I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Dan Trachtenberg's
yeah,
talking.
So
Continue that.
yeah. My point of me phrasing it this way is because this is typically not a show that I enjoy.
Typically or not?
Well, typically because, like, cause I'm going to be careful because I remember feeling very similarly to how I first felt about Justified, but then I enjoyed the second season of. So I want to choose my words carefully about this because it feels. I mean, they're very different shows for a variety of reasons, but one of them is it feels like network TV to me. And not in a negative way, in a way in which I don't typically enjoy this kind of show in this manner.
Right.
Well, it's an edgy network show, but I can really feel the edges.
Got it.
And there's action scenes in this that are kind of cool. There's a few action scenes that feel like they could have been in The Dark Knight. But because it's a television show, because of the pacing of those scenes, it doesn't have any time to build on them the way and make them feel brooding and suspenseful or whatever. It just kind of rushes through them, and we have a cursory glance at it. And we have these. The reason why I don't like Monster of the Week shows on network television is because it's always a very cursory look into that thing that is only going to be there briefly.
Yeah.
So there's never meat on the bone for me. That's why I like serialized shows, and that's why I enjoy season 2 of Justified so much more, is because it really delved into.
So what did you think overall of this? Because it sounds like those are all negative things.
Yeah, they are.
So you didn't like it.
But it's not totally for me. This is a show that's more up your alley. Curious to hear what you think. But this is the kind you watch those weekly crime-solving shows.
CSI,
all that stuff. And this is that with a different premise, and the premise is one that makes a lot of sense to be in this medium.
So you didn't like it.
But
you're not gonna watch more.
I didn't love it.
So you didn't like it. You're not gonna watch more.
And
I mean, I just want to not avoid. I mean, I want people to know your opinion.
they got it.
I'm not sure what
Okay.
Dan said, but
I'm not either. What do
but
you
I agree
think?
with him completely.
Oh, okay. So you didn't love it.
No, I couldn't find a way into this, and the first 5 minutes or even less, I was like, this is gonna be my favorite show. This is awesome. We have like Hobo Caviezel, like taking down some dudes, hobo style.
That was one of the best action scenes. Was him beating
yeah,
up the guys.
as
in the
Hobo
subway.
Caviezel, and I was like, oh, you don't mess with Hobo Caviezel. But
I call him Hobezel.
the Hobezel.
That's funny. That's what I used to call girls in high school.
Horrible.
I just point and click to you.
I don't even know if they
I
saw
can't.
that yet.
No, I'm not laughing at that until I'm not laughing until I know it is chronologically canon. So go on.
Just point of
Hobezel.
interest, everyone.
I know.
At some point, I'm going to do something that
Interesting.
everyone should be interested in. Okay.
Wow.
This has gone off the rails.
So Hobezel, you were in with Hobezel.
I liked, and then there's a
then he
lot to
shaved.
swallow, right? So there's no normalcy anywhere. There's no everyman. I would have liked us to have been, you have the Ben Linus character, which isn't Ben Linus, but basically is. You have this mysterious rich man who comes in and says, I've got this magical information that you have to act on. But the whole universe seems to be crazy. Like, we have this guy who's ex-CIA, and that's cool that he has these skills. But what I thought I was going to like from that first 5 minutes is that here's a guy I can relate to on a sort of emotional level and get inside his head and go on a ride with him of him like finding redemption and having this information that normal people don't have. But instead what we get is a guy who just, to prevent this crime, starts randomly murdering people.
He shot everybody in the leg.
Really?
He shot everybody
Not
in the leg,
everyone. Some guy
except
was
for
the
one guy.
2 pops in the chat. And then something happened off camera. We don't even know where he got shot.
The leg. No, but everybody was shot in
It
the leg.
seems like okay. Well, maybe I didn't catch that detail, but it seemed like he was just randomly murdering
He only murdered
people.
one person, and he was a very bad man.
Yeah.
Those were the edges that you could see.
Yeah, exactly. And I just,
Oh, there was not enough murdering of people.
I don't know. I just couldn't get into it. And then the actual monster of the week, to use the parlance of our Dan, is the actual crime we're solving in the pilot episode felt really convoluted, and it didn't feel very. I didn't find a way into that either. It's like, oh, there's a twist, but it's like the whole thing is just let's look at people through binoculars and listen to their cell phone calls. We're just peeping toms on them rather than doing anything, or you know what I mean. It just felt like witnessing something rather than being involved in it. So I didn't really enjoy it, but I feel like it has potential to be something cool.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it more than you guys. I'm a big fan of Monster of the Week.
Parlance of our Alex.
Parlance of me. So I definitely enjoyed it much more than that. But there are some issues that I had. It is very network TV. However, I had just come off of watching about 20 minutes of Law and Order SVU, which used to be one of my favorite shows, was so atrociously bad. This premiere episode, and like so cheesy, and I was like, oh my God, I can't. I had that in my mouth when I started playing Person of Interest, and I was like, wow. I know where network TV can go. I know where network TV can go. I know where it can go.
Yeah.
This is so much better than that.
Yeah.
Not only that, I think there is something interesting here, and I think that as this show goes on, it could very well turn into one of our favorite shows ever. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think there's a potential here.
I agree with that.
And what the behind the scenes is, the overarching villain.
And what's actually happening, and if they bring in some people who are maybe through-line people. The other thing is, what you got in this first Monster of the Week in the pilot was what The Shield took seasons to discover and talk about.
Yeah.
And so what you lost, I think, and I think hopefully they will realize is that what people want to see is not the Monster of the Week per se. You can have aspects of that in these shows, but really you're going to get more use out of what is actually going on here and how is all of this stuff shaking out.
Which is definitely the intention of the makers of the show,
of course,
100%. But the feeling that the pilot leaves in one's mouth.
Yeah.
Also,
not as bad as SVU.
It also felt like the
and I'm a huge fan of SVU, so that was a big
I'm a huge fan of
the
stuff in my
gimmicks,
mouth.
the gimmicks, the listening in on the phone and the chips and all that stuff didn't feel like
none of that stuff was
it was all get out of jail free cards.
of course.
It was was like we can just do this to get and it's like
I completely agree with
it's a
that.
Law and Order episode where it's like, well, we need to get this person to point B quickly. We don't have enough time, so we just listened in. As opposed to like the movie,
Totally.
the movie version would have been he's got to sneak in the chip and the thing, and he gets caught, and
We're not inside any of that. It's
We'll
just
see an episode later where that happens, I'm sure, but
So it's flawed, but I think it's worth watching. I'm going to continue watching it. I have high hopes as to where it could go.
It's got great actors. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And a heck of a lot of potential. It just bad taste. Mouth.
Yeah. Too bad. Interest person in. All right, everybody, be sure to stick around for this day in Rad history. But first, we want to thank our sponsors, GoDaddy.com. Get reliable, secure web hosting without the long-term contracts. GoDaddy's hosting plans are bigger and better than ever with 99.99% uptime, free 24/7 support, and no annual commitment. And remember, you can always download the free GoDaddy iPhone, Android, or BlackBerry app to order right from your phone, manage your domains, so much more. And it's really great when you have that great idea for a domain name while you're on the run.
You know what? I realized GoDaddy has better uptime than my actual phone does.
Totally true. Check out revision3.com/GoDaddy for a list of all the amazing GoDaddy deals from Revision 3. But use the coupon code TRS8 when you check out. Not only do you get 10% off, but you let them know you like our show, so we appreciate
it so much.
All right,
Another way you can let us know that you like our show is by sending us a background to
Director's
display.
window.
Look at this cool Gears of War background, totally sweet. You can send it to fans@totallyradshow.com, and you can even get our logo at the flickr.com/totallyradshow.
Don't miss tomorrow's show for our review of Steven Spielberg's Terra Nova.
Today is September 28th, and on this day in Rad history in 1951, CBS made the first color TVs available for sale to the general public. But the interesting thing is, they were discontinued less than a month later, and no one ever saw color television again.
Well, the really weird thing, until the internet, until this video, the really weird thing is I can't believe CBS made them available.
Yeah, well,
it was a big thing between CBS and RCA.
I guess RCA won on that one, huh?
No. They actually got discontinued. I was reading up about this. They got discontinued because the Korean War. They asked them to stop making TVs and plus they hadn't had it figured out yet. And
it wasn't the massive amounts of fatalities due to exploding televisions, is it?
Start making things for us, for the defense. And then
they make televisions for the war effort.
Yeah.
Oh, they just sent them to Korea. That's why there's all Korean programming.
It was like the baseball League of Our Own. All the women had to start making TVs, and all they showed were cooking shows.
Horrible, Dan.
Anyway,
Send your hate mail, your sexist hate mail to @Dan Trachtenberg.
@RoyTerp. Thank you for sending that in. Send your hate mail to him.